Hi. Do you want to introduce yourself again?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. My name is Trinity.
Hi, Trinity. We're
And
excited to have you here today. Okay, I see somebody with like Sia and Sahasra. Could you please turn on your video? And I see a couple other people joining. Go ahead, please turn on your videos. Hello. Wow, lots of new faces. Can you introduce yourselves? Hi, I see two new ladies joining in. Can you introduce yourself?
Jay Baba, my name is
Just waiting for the host to start this meeting.
Meher Sahasra, or people mostly call me Sia, and today I will be singing
Sia, where are you from?
I'm from California,
Oh, where in California?
Dublin.
What place?
Dublin.
Ooh, I don't know that place. I used to live out there. Hey, Shilpa, I'm not hearing you.
Oh, because I accidentally put myself on mute.
Okay.
Well, welcome,
Hey,
Sia.
Hi, Jeff. Jay Baba.
hey. And let's see. So,
We moved from Canada.
Oh, okay.
who's
And
from Canada?
she moved from Canada.
Okay, this is Srinida D.
it's Trinity.
Srinidhi. And you say you lived in Canada?
No, I live in Colorado.
In where?
Colorado.
Oh, Colorado. Okay, wow.
Yep. We have one more person here. Hello, how are you? What's your name?
Me?
Yes.
My name is Manasvi.
Hi, Manasvi. I just want to make sure I'm asking because sometimes, you may have your mom or dad's IDs. Nice to meet you. Where are you from and how old are you?
I'm 9. I'm like nearly 10, and
Okay.
I'm from North Carolina.
Oh, welcome. Thank you for coming.
Where in North Carolina?
Carrie.
Cary. I know that place. And what are your parents' names?
My mom's name is Madhavi and my dad's name is Harish.
Harish, okay.
And then
Good.
Shireen and Sahana, you want to turn on your videos? So, there we go.
You guys are all familiar with this stuff.
Yep.
My name is Jeff. I don't know if it says Jeff. Oh, it does say Jeff. Yeah.
Jay Baba, Chef.
And Jay Shri, I know you.
Jay Baba.
Wow. And
Yes, we have a couple more joining. Shireen is here. Is Meher coming soon?
Yeah.
Awesome. So what I'm gonna do, because we wanna get everyone's we have the first half where we're celebrating Baba's birthday still, and then the latter, I should say, the first half an hour, and then the latter from 4 o'clock onwards, we're going to be having an awesome interactive session with Jeff that Jeff has worked very hard for. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start calling on people and sharing some videos that people have sent me so that we could get the Baba birthday celebration going. Okay, is that cool? So you girls, Manasvi and Sia and Srinidhi, you guys are prepared to share something today before I start, picking on you guys? Yeah? Okay, and if you're not, it's okay. We can always do this another, next week, right? We love to have, music and sharing sessions every week. So I hope to see you guys come every Sunday and then interact with the rest of the crew, okay? So with that said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen and then I'm going to actually show you girls and guys, whoever's here, a really cute video of of this little girl, okay? Who has, let me, okay. Tell me when you can see my screen. Yeah? Can you guys see it?
Yep, we see it. Yeah.
All right, perfect.
Ooh, can't hear the audio though.
Oh, uh-oh. How come you can't hear the audio still?
Mom, we forgot to do that thingy.
No, I didn't. I did. I said share sound, optimize for video clip.
Can you try one more time, Shilpa?
Okay. Is this better? Okay, let's try again. So you guys ready to hear one more?
Sure.
What were the words? Was that in Hindi?
Yes.
Some of it?
Yeah, it's a Baba song called Ram Sham Isha Allah Main Kya Janu Re.
Yeah, I've heard it many times. What does it mean?
Uh,
Just a little bit.
so basically it means Ram and Sham is, Rama and Krishna, right?
Yeah.
Basically, it's just taking the names of the Lord and then saying, Baba, you're mine. I may not know Ram or Krishna, but I know, I love you, know you. I think that's the essence. Did I get
Yeah.
that? Okay. So, would one of you guys, Sia or Sahasra, sorry, Sia or Manasvi, would you like to go next?
Yeah, sure, I can go.
Okay.
अवतार मेहर बाबा की जय। नमो बाबा अवतार, नमो देव देवा, प्रभु नमो बाबा अवतार, नमो देव देवा, अपार दिव्य कृपा सागर, अपार दिव्य कृपा सागर, सकल चराचर जगत उतारा, सकल चराचर जगत उतारा, नमो मेरु बाबा अवतार, नमो देव देवा, प्रभु नमो मेरु बाबा अवतार, नमो देव देवा, जो हारुली वस्ती मेहरु बाबा, जो हारुली वस्ती मेहरु बाबा, महिनी जनिंकिन मानव रूप, महिनी जनिंकिन मानव रूप, इह परानंद जीवन मीवा, इह परानंद जीवन मीवा, भव भय भंजन परम पावन, भव भय भंजन परम पावन, नमो मेरु बाबा अवतार, नमो देव देवा, प्रभु नमो मेरु बाबा अवतार, नमो देव देवा, अज्ञानांधतनंतमुचेसि, अज्ञानांधतनंतमुचेसि, दिव्य विज्ञान दृष्टिनुसंखि, दिव्य विज्ञान दृष्टिनुसंखि, अरिषर्वद्गमुलन्तरिंपग, अरिषर्वद्गमुलन्तरिंपग, अव्ययमोक्षं बनुग्रहिंपुम्, अव्ययमोक्षं बनुग्रहिंपुम्, नमो मेरु बाबा अवतार, नमो देव देवा, प्रभु नमो मेरु बाबा अवतार, नमो देव देवा, जय मेहर बाबा जय, 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 जय Baba Jai. Jai Meher Baba Jai, Jai Meher Baba Jai, Jai Meher Baba Jai, Jai Meher Baba Jai, Jai Meher Baba Jai. Avtar Meher Baba ki Jai.
That was excellent. Good job. You did a fantastic job.
Thank you.
Good.
And I will be taking 5 to 6 minutes to be telling a story.
Okay, can I
Call-
hold 1 second? I'm sorry, Sia. Is it okay if we let somebody else also take a turn and then we'll come back to you? Is that okay? Is that okay with
Yeah,
you?
sure.
Okay, all right. Because I want to make sure everybody here gets a chance today, okay? Okay, so next up, we have Soham. Are you ready, Soham?
Yeah.
Okay, come on over. And then after Soham, I'm going to show another video. Is Sahana coming to sing with us as well? No. No, just you. So he's going to be playing a song on, you ready? Yeah. That's okay. Yeah, there. Yes, they can hear. I got it. There we go. Ready? What was the song that you played? I played the
Beautiful.
All right, thank you, Soham. So that was Begin the Day with God by Soham. Okay, so now we're gonna go quickly to another video. Sorry, I'm kind of going back and forth with this because I wanna make sure we have enough time for everyone. Okay. And this is by Yukta and she's from Dubai.
No sound yet.
We can't hear him.
There it is.
No sound?
Good. Now.
Oh, okay, sorry. Okay, I'm gonna start again then.
My name is Meheryukta and I'm from Dubai. Jai Baba. Amritam chinde palukulato prema amritamunu panchutakai Meher Baba pilichanu Baba manala pilichanu Amritam chinde palukulato అశాంతితో అనగారిలో చుటకై అశాంతితో అనగారిన మనకు ఆత్మజ్ఞానమును ఎరిగించుటకై మెహర్ బాబాను నామముతో సకల జనులకు సందేశమివ్వగా మెహర్ బాబాను నామముతో సకల జనులకు సందేశమివ్వగా అమృతం చిందే పలుకులతో మనస్సులోని మాలిన్యపు మబ్బుతరలను తొలగించుటకు మనస్సులోని మాలిన్యపు మబ్బుతరలను తొలగించుటకు మాయామోహపు జగమందు మాయామోహపు జగమందు మహోన్నతముగా మనల చెయ్యగా అమృతం చిందే పలుకులతో నిలకడలేక తిరిగే మనకు నిశ్చలత్వమును కలిగించుటకై నిలకడలేక తిరిగే మనకు నిశ్చలత్వమును కలిగించుటకు నిశ్చేజంతో కుమిలే మనలో నిశ్చేజంతో కుమిలే మనలో ప్రేమ జ్యోతిని వెలిగించుటకు అమృతం చిందే పలుకులతో ప్రేమ అమృతమును పంచుటకై మెహర్ బాబా పిలిచెను బాబా మనల పిలిచెను అమృతం చిందే పలుకులతో జై బాబా మెహర్ బాబా కీ జై మై నేమ్
sorry. Okay, so that was Meher Yukta from Dubai. Shireen, would you like to go next?
Let me ask you, is her mom Darshana by any chance?
I am not sure.
Uh-huh.
Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay.
I'm going to be playing Gujarati Aarti, Bujale. Jai Baba.
That was awesome.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
That's Shireen, right?
Yeah, that's Shireen.
Yeah.
Our own Shireen.
Beautiful.
Good job.
Manasi, would you like to go next?
Me?
Yeah?
I didn't come prepared, but I know one Baba Arti.
Sure. Do you wanna then do you wanna go now, or I can? I have another video, and Srinidhi also needs to go. If you don't want to share today, that's absolutely okay. Whatever you're comfortable with.
Or you can do it next week, maybe.
Yeah, next week too.
I guess I'll do it next week.
Okay, no problem. So I'm going to share a video, and then Srinidhi, you're next. Is that okay? Okay, sounds good. Okay, guys, so this video is from Laya, Natya, and Elora. You guys know them. Elora and all, they're actually driving, so they are on screen. But we're going to show the video that they prepared for Baba's birthday. Okay? Okay. 1 second.
We can't hear it.
My daughters, Leah, Natya, and Elora, we have a special fusion presentation of Kathak, Kuchipudi, and Bollywood all mixed together. Why do we do this creative thing on Baba's birthday? Well, his birthday is the day of new beginnings. So today we also want to make a new beginning. We'll be doing Indian steps to an American song and also a traditional song. So please enjoy this. Jai Meher Baba to everyone. Avatar Meher Baba ki Jai.
Why question, are you worthy? Are you really good enough? You don't have to worry, you will never be rebuffed. When you give yourself to love, you will never be rebuffed. No matter what you think, he is always there for you. No matter what you do, he is always there for you. You can tell him everything, he is always there for you. He loves you as you are, he is always there for you. Say, beloved, here I am. Set my heart aflame. Go ahead and take the holy treasure of his name. Tell him what you need. Beloved, all I need is you. Tell him what you want. Beloved, all I want is you. Tell him who you love. Beloved, I love you. Tell him what you'll do. Beloved, all I can for you. Beloved, I am here. Beloved, hear me calling you. Beloved, I am here. Beloved, hear me calling you. Thinking about yourself and the things that worry you. When you could be calling him, it's the best thing you can do. There are so many names to call him. Pick an aspect you adore. When you put your heart behind it, you will never be ignored. Zoroaster, Ramakrishna are the ancient names to call. Buddha, Jesus, and Allah, and you still don't have them all. I call him Meher Baba, and it sets my heart aflame. But no matter which name you choose, they are one and
Okay, so
That
that
was so
was our
cool.
dancers, and I encourage all the other dancers to, you know, share videos and dances with us too. So I'm really excited. Now we have Srinidhi. Without further ado,
Uday Meher Baba Ki Jai. I'm gonna play Ocean of Love by Bob Holt on my flute.
awesome. That was beautiful.
Beautiful.
Thank you so much. So I think that has, like, everybody has gotten a turn, and we're on 405. So I would love to start off our, interaction and conversations with our guest speaker, Jeff. Jeff, with that, further ado, it's all yours.
Okay. Well, that was lovely. You know the is it which one is called Sia? Oh, you're Sia, and Srinidhi. And just to tell you about that song, that was written by a good friend of mine, and he was blind. Have you been to the center in Myrtle Beach? You have. Who all has been to the center in Myrtle Beach? Yep, I know. Yeah, everybody. That's where I've worked at for the last 50 years. But you know, as you go just down to the beach itself, there are the shells that spell out Meher Baba is love. Or no, it says the ocean of love, Meher Baba. Have you seen that as you go to the beach? Anyway, Bob Holt, who wrote that song, he was blind. And he came down to the beach and he felt all those shells spelled out Baba's, the ocean of love, Meher Baba. And then he went out to the ocean, and the melody and the words came together. And it just like that, kind of a miracle. Usually a melody comes first and the words come later, or vice versa. So anyway, that was, he wrote that song. And let me just see. So Meher, I know your mom and dad, and Shailaja, and Jaisima, and Shailaja from New Jersey. Let me just see who all the people I know. Jayshree, I've seen on this. Shireen, of course. You know, Shireen, that melody that you played, the Gujarati Arti. No, did you do the Gujarati Arti? Yeah. Baba did that melody, but being on silence, it was very hard to convey that song, because he couldn't give you the notes. So they had to give all the different notes. Then Bob would say, no, that's the note. And that would be the next note. And it was very slow for Baba to convey that melody. But that was his melody. And Elora, does Elora know about the Elora Caves?
Yes. So I have a picture of it in my room, and Baba's in it.
Oh, good.
And Jeff, if I may add, that
Yeah.
Laura is Manjusha and Murli's granddaughter, along with the other two, Laya and Natya.
Ah,
Yeah.
I know that's your grandparents, huh? Now, does anybody, when I came on here before, I thought everybody was from Bombay or Pune, but you folks are all in America, right? Except Srinidhi, you were in Canada for a while?
No, I wasn't. I think Sia was.
Oh, Sia was in Canada. Where in Canada?
Toronto.
Where?
Toronto.
Toronto?
Yeah.
Ah, okay. So here's what I thought I would do. I'm going to tell you a little bit first I'll tell you a story about Baba. Now, Baba was in a place called Melbourne, which is a city in Australia. And there was a gathering, and Baba was there. And at the end of the gathering, Baba unexpectedly said, I'd like to visit your homes. This would be like Jesus coming into your home. So they were all excited, but their houses, they didn't know Baba was going to come to their house, and some of them, their houses were a mess. So they got in the car and drove home quickly before Baba got there, and they just gathered a lot of stuff, and they would throw it in the utility closet, or the kids would clean up their bedroom, just throw everything in the closet and try to make it good. And then Baba came. And so he went from house to house, but he came to this one house, and he walks around the house and all the different rooms and everything, and he goes in the hallway and he points to what's behind that door. And sure enough, it was the closet where they put all the junk in. And Baba had a good laugh, And he went into the kids' room, and they said, what's in that room? In a closet. And they open up, and there's all their toys and everything is thrown in there. So the thing, and Bob will get a big kick out of that. But normally with God, we want to show just the best side of ourselves, but Baba doesn't mind the cluttered side of us, or the messy side. So anyway, that was kind of, and Baba had a good laugh at that. But anyway, I'm going to tell you a little bit about my childhood, which is different from yours. And see, you all have Baba, but I'll go into that. When I was born in New York City, and when I was 2 years old, we moved out to Tacoma, Washington. Soham had a T-shirt that had Seattle, which was right next to Tacoma. And we had a big family, 5 kids, and a big house with all these fruit trees and and in the Northwest, it's a very beautiful part of the country. There are mountains, there are waterways, streams, woods. Even though it was a city, there were so many woods that we could play in and run around in. I mean, it was a paradise for kids. But anyway, so we had 5 kids in our family, plus all the kids in the neighborhood, and they all used to hang out at our house because our house was the center of the neighborhood. And we played sports. We had enough people to play, games, sports, hide and seek, and everything. But here's the thing about our family is we didn't go to church at all. We were. What can I say? I didn't know. I mean, I knew of Jesus. I heard of Jesus, but I didn't find out much about him except that he was very loving and that. and we didn't, like I said, we didn't go to church. And all the kids in the neighborhood went to church, but as soon as church was over, they all came over to our house because we were, even though we weren't religious, we were very fun-loving. We had a good time, a great time, and all the kids liked it. Now, just to give you an idea of what we used to do, all summer long, the kids used to sleep, to bring their sleeping bags, and we would sleep in the backyard under the stars every night. And the next day, we would, in the next morning, we would come in, and we had a housekeeper, and she would make breakfast for about 10 kids. But we would, here's what we would do. We would, not only would all these kids descend on the house and eat so much food, we'd have contests to see who could eat the most of different things, most toast, the most French toast, and the most pancakes. And I won the championship for pancakes. How many pancakes do you think I ate? I hold the record. How many pancakes? They were about this big. Ion, is it Ion? How many pancakes do you think I ate? You guys can all unmute yourself.
My best guess is 7.
7. Anybody else?
Go ahead, Clara.
Huh?
6.
6. Anybody else?
9.
Oh, Mayhair, how many would you say?
10.
10. Soham, how many do you, oh, I bet Soham can figure it out. How many do you think I ate?
12.
Pancake. Huh?
12.
And Alora, how many do you think?
I think 7.
You guys are all way off.
Can
You know how many pancakes I ate for breakfast to beat the record? 37.
What?
37. That's the way we were when we were kids. We had so much fun. But, so like I said, I didn't have any religious background. But between my 3rd and 4th grade, my brother and I, he was 2 years older than me, we got on a train, just two of us, I mean, no grown-ups. We went all the way from Tacoma to the Midwest, in Indiana, to visit my mom's parents. My grandfather was an atheist. Do you know what an atheist is? Someone who doesn't believe in God at all. And my grandmother, who was very, very devoted to Jesus. She didn't just believe in Jesus, but she had his companionship, the kind of way that Baba asked us to be a companion with him. And so when we were there, my brother and I wound up going to church. Now, we had never been in church, and it was very serious in there, very quiet, extremely quiet, and we had to try to keep from laughing the whole time. I mean, because we had never been in an atmosphere like that. There would be these old ladies that would go up in the front of the church and go, "Oh, what a friend we have in Jesus!" You know, and oh my God, we had to do everything to keep from making a spectacle of ourselves. And our favorite time was when everybody bowed their head in prayer, and that's when my brother and I would pop up our heads, and we would just, we get have the whole place to ourselves. Nobody was watching us, and it was the best time. But anyway, the reason I say this is that when I came back to my 4th grade, I felt Jesus watching me wherever I went. When I walked to school, Jesus was there, and I mean, he was watching me from outside. And, out on the playground, I felt, Jesus, and I had never been to church before. I thought you picked this thing up at church. But anyway, so I had that experience, and he didn't, there was nothing about heaven and hell. There was nothing about the devil, none of that. He was just very loving. But then I got into school, I got into sports and everything, and I totally forgot about this experience. And that was, like I say, that was 4th grade. I forgot all about it. I was really into sports. I was really into baseball. and I wanted to be a professional baseball player, and I was even scouted by the Yankees, the New York Yankees, which was my favorite team.
Stop.
And but so anyway, the one thing I wanted to just mention here, and then I'll tell you later on in the program when about my meeting with Baba. But what I one of the things that I experienced when I used to be very afraid of giving book reports or giving talks in front of the class. I mean, I was like scared, very scared. And of course, I didn't have Jesus. I didn't have Baba. I had to suffer those things myself. You know, I mean, or if I was in some dangerous situation, I couldn't, you know, call on Baba. I couldn't call on God. I didn't know anything about God, and I didn't know really about Jesus. So I had to go through all those things alone as a child. And so what we're going to do is Shilpa has some things she's going to put on the screen, but let me mention, not quite yet. Oh yeah, okay, I can just talk over this. But most people put God up in heaven looking down. And, you know, he's not down here with us. He's up there looking down, or he's there on Sunday when you show up for for church, or he's there in the photograph when you say the prayers. But can he come out and be with you, be in the room with you, go to school with you, help you with your homework, help you clean your bedroom? So we have, I woke up at 4:30 the other morning and I wrote down some of these things. And I want to see what you kids feel about this. Yeah, go ahead, Shilpa, yeah. Yeah. Let's have, let's see, Shrina D, can you read that out?
I am whatever you take me to be.
Go ahead, read that.
Baba says, I am whatever you take me to be.
What do you think that means?
I think it means like I am whatever you think. I am whatever you think of me. Like if you think of me as Jesus, I am Jesus. If you think of me as Allah, I am Allah. Like I'm whatever form that you think of me to be.
Yeah, good. Now now listen to this next part. The next slide. So let's have Shia. Can you read that? Sia.
What do you take Baba to be? What role does he play? He
Keep
is
going.
like your father, your mother, your brother/sister, your friend, your grandmother or grandfather. God's looking down on us, or what else?
Does that, or just before we begin, is there any of those? Oh yes, there's something else. There's something that's getting blocked here. Shilpa, off to the right. There. Read that too, Sia.
Okay, sorry, I was having trouble unmuting myself. He can be awesome or all of these, not just one of these roles.
Good. Okay, now let me. Is there any one of those roles there, Sia, that makes sense for you? Is he any of those roles for you?
Yes, grandmother and grandfather.
Like your grandfather? Yeah. Yeah, a lot of the people who met Baba in India, they thought of Baba as the grandfather of this big, big family, just like you said. Okay, go on to the next, and we'll ask Sahana to read.
Okay, Jeff, before we go on, should we ask what the other kids think of Baba as?
What's that?
Can we kind of just go around and ask everyone what Baba means to them? What role?
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
So
You do it because you've got the. I can't see all the kids.
no worries, I can do it. So, Manasvi, what do you think? Which part of these roles, or maybe something else that you feel like Baba is for you?
God looking down on us.
Oh, cool. What about Elora?
I think the father of everybody.
Can you?
Oh,
put
good. The
that?
father of everybody?
Ooh.
Beautiful.
What about Manya?
Papa is my God.
Oh, nice. What about Ayan?
To me, Baba means my sisters, because they are both they put their attention 100% to whatever they're loving, to everybody and everything.
Okay. Cool.
Beautiful.
I love
Beautiful.
that. Yeah. What about Meher?
I think of Baba as my friend.
Okay.
Beautiful.
What about Sahana? Sahana? You there?
I'm here. Sorry. It took me a long time to unmute.
That's okay. What do you think Baba as? Your father, mother, brother, sister? Which one of these? Or maybe something else?
Well, I mean, it's actually really simple because, like, I mean, he's all one basically. So he's everything,
Beautiful.
but all one.
Okay, but for you, which one matters the most?
I think, I don't know. I think all of them do.
Okay. Who did I not pick on? What about Srinidhi?
My father.
Okay. I see you have a sister there. Would she like to participate? Oh. Okay. All right. Leia, what about you?
Oh yeah. I think that he is my friend.
He's your friend? Okay. Srinidhi, is your sister ready? Does she want to say something?
Yeah.
What's your name?
Shilpa.
Okay. And what is Baba to you?
God.
Okay. Awesome. Soham, you're next.
I kind of see him as like someone who just keeps us in line. You know, someone who is there for us to keep us, on the right path.
Okay.
Beautiful. Yeah, a guide guiding us.
That's nice. I think Shireen is last, right? I think did I get everybody else? Guys, if I forgot, please speak up. Okay, Shireen, what do you think Baba is for you?
I just think him of as like God himself, just like one.
Okay. And anyone else? Nadia, are you there? All right. Okay. I don't know if that came through. So if we're ready, we can go to the next slide. Okay, guys.
There's something, Shilpa, on my screen, there's something on the right that,
Yeah. There's a gray screen, Shilpa. I think
There's
you
a
have to
gray
minimize.
screen.
Yeah.
I don't see anything.
Yeah.
Is this better?
Now,
Now it's yeah.
let's
Now it's
see.
better. Yeah. Now
So,
it's better.
Shilpa, you asked the kids each one to read,
Okay.
and you
Okay.
have the kids there. I can't see. I only see a couple of the kids.
No worries. So I think we should start off with Meher. I would like, so what we're gonna go through, guys, and we're gonna need your participation in this, okay? So Jeff has a bunch of questions put together. So each one of you is gonna be, and I hope there's enough slides, but each one of you is gonna be reading a slide and we're gonna talk about it, okay? So one of this is, let's think of some scenarios where, or how Baba can be there for you. Okay, so Meher, would you like to start off? Okay, so you can unmute yourself. Be ready with your unmute button because I'll be picking on each one of you.
Let's think of some scenarios where how Baba can be for you. First, on a rainy day, you're stuck indoors and bored. He can be your friend who will hang out with you.
Meher, does that can you relate to that? That he might be there in your room with you when you're kind of a little bit bored and it's a rainy day?
Not quite.
Yeah, see, like I say, when I was a kid, I didn't have anybody. I didn't have Jesus, or I didn't have Baba. But Baba says he will be there if you make him that. You can, but yeah, good.
Okay, you want to read the next two?
Sec, if you have to give a talk at school and you're feeling scared, he can be the one who can give you courage, the one who tells you you can do it. You can do it. When I was in school, I was really scared to give book reports or talks, or even at a dance, music performance, or school play.
What do you do when you're kind of scared, like that? Meher?
Like, think of Baba.
Do you think of Baba when you're a little bit scared?
Yeah.
Good. That's what I have to do. Okay. Hey, well, let's have let Soham read this one because it's about sports.
When you're in a game at school, like football or soccer or volleyball or dodgeball, he can be like a father on the sidelines cheering you on.
Can you relate to that at all?
Not really.
Because your dad is already always on the sidelines?
Yeah, I mean, most of the time he is.
Oh, yeah. What if your dad wasn't there?
Not really sure. I mean, it wouldn't really affect anything, but
sometimes, sometimes it's nice to know that somebody might be watching you that's near and dear to you.
Yeah.
But, one time, I mean, sometimes when I play baseball and I would make an error that would cost a couple of runs, I would feel terrible. And it would have been nice to have Baba there to kind of boost me up a little bit. Have a Soham read number 4.
If he didn't do well on a test and made too many mistakes, I can't see that one word. Oh, he can be like your mother who consoles you and doesn't make you feel bad. I can definitely relate to that. I got a 50 on a Spanish test.
Uh-oh. Yeah. And see, sometimes your mother isn't there, so Baba can fill in for your mother. But, Baba once asked the boys, he had a school way back in 1925. He once asked the boys, and the kids, the girls and boys, what is higher than the sky? And they all gave various answers, and this and that. And in the end, Baba said, a mother's love. A mother's love is higher than the sky, very close to God. Okay. Oh, yeah, Sia has a question, I see.
My question is like Baba's school still there?
Say that again?
Is Baba's school still there?
No, but they do have a school there. The school was at Mehrabad, and they do have a school, not in the same place, that was created about 50 years after that, called the Mayor School, and all the village kids go to that school.
Oh, because I asked my grandmother this question because she was also a Baba devotee, but she never ended up answering it.
Yeah, Baba Baba had some schools for the kids in a village where it was kind of illiterate. They didn't have schools, and Baba created schools for the kids. And some of them who had no one in their family had ever gone to college, and some of those kids from that school eventually graduated from college. So that was some of the work that Baba did. Okay, let's see who else can read.
Could Manasvi read the next two?
When you need someone to tell your most personal secrets, he can be your confidant, the one you share your secrets with.
Does that seem like that could happen for you? Do you think? Huh?
No, I can't relate to it.
So who do you tell your secrets to?
I don't tell my secrets to anyone.
That's
awesome.
That's what I didn't have anybody to tell my secrets to. Some friends or my mom and dad, but a lot of secrets I didn't have anybody to tell until Baba came into my life, and then I could share my difficulties with him.
I'm still a big blabbermouth though.
So you just kind of blab everything that you get it out of your system right away like that? That's good.
Sometimes.
Good,
okay.
Good.
Why don't you read the next one too, Manasvi?
On a day when no one seems to like you at school, he can be the one who really likes you just as you are. I can't relate to that either because in school I have a lot of friends.
Yeah, so you're good.
How about anybody else? Can you guys relate to that? Do you feel like sometimes people may not like you? Sia, you would like to share something?
Yeah, because every time I move to a new school, I feel like nobody would like me unless somebody comes and talks to me.
Oh, yeah.
Well, see, I think that somebody is Baba in them, right? Okay, what about maybe Meher or
Well, let me see. Let's go back to Sia. So, in other words, when you move, you have to start all over and make new friends, and you don't know whether do you sometimes think of Baba when you're in a new school?
Sometimes I think of all gods and basically my parents, and yeah, I think about everything, and then I can't really and then I end up not really thinking about somebody. After all, people try to make friends with me.
And it all works out eventually. Does it work out?
It works out pretty nicely because whenever I pray to a god or whenever I pray to Baba during schools that I can get good grades, but that never happens. Unless I work hard to get good grades.
Yeah. Good, beautiful. But anytime you turn to him, he loves it. It's like he's there and everybody kind of ignores him so much of the time, and he's right there looking after us. But, you know, we're kind of lost in ourselves sometimes. Okay, there's one other sentence at the bottom. Sia, read that last line.
6.
No, yeah, well, you read that one. Oh, yeah, you read that one, but there's the next line that's in red.
Oh. We can be the one who loves you no matter what.
Yeah. Do you think that he could love you no matter what, even if you did some lousy things? Do you think he would still love you anyway?
Kind of, because I'm really... yeah, because I'm kind of naughty.
And he said, well, you know how your dog, I don't know if you have a dog, but he might chew up a pillow or something like that from the sofa, but you still love your dog, even though it tears up the pillow.
Actually, I can relate to that because my baby sister, sometimes she ends up pulling my hair or she ends up scratching me, and then I still love her.
Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. Okay. Okay, Shilpa.
All right, we're on to the next one. Srinidhi, would you like to read that?
Sure. Be the one who tells you jokes to see if you're funny or help you. What is that? Learn. Oh, learn. Learn how to tell the joke better. He be the one who really likes your jokes.
Do you know a joke at all?
Yeah.
I don't know a joke.
Who knows a joke? Oh, Sia knows a joke. Manasvi knows a joke.
Yeah, that's Manasvi. Do you have a joke?
Yeah. What's Frosty the Snowman's favorite part of a cake?
Say that once again.
What's Frosty the Snowman's favorite part of a cake?
The frosting.
Yeah, the frosting.
That's a good one. What about Sia? You had a joke?
It's kind of a riddle joke.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, what is alive, what has teeth, but it's not alive?
What has teeth but is not alive? Okay. Can anybody answer that? What has teeth but isn't alive?
Oh,
Nope.
Manasvi.
Is mummy or something, or like a
No.
skeleton?
No. Dentures?
Skull?
No.
Good guess, though. Anybody else? Meher, Soham, Ayan?
Say it.
So the question is, what has teeth but it's not alive?
Can the adults answer?
Sure.
Only if all the kids give up.
I think I gave up.
So you can get that something has a teeth, but it's not a human being. It's not an animal.
It's
The
not
only thing
alive.
I thought it was like a bear trap, the ones that they put in the woods. With, like,
No, it's not even alive. No.
That's a good guess, Soham.
Does everybody
We
get
give
up?
up. We give up.
Okay, a comb.
Yeah, I knew that.
Oh, of course, a comb.
Skeleton.
Okay,
Awesome.
A what?
A comb.
A comb.
a hair comb. Yeah,
I got a joke.
good.
Okay. What do you call a cow with no legs?
A cow with no legs. Uh-oh, let's see, a
Ground
cow.
beef.
What?
Oh, wait.
What was it?
Love
Ground
that one.
beef.
I missed that. What was it, Soham?
Ground beef. A cow with no legs.
Oh, okay, yeah. I was thinking of milk, but okay.
All right, so who would like to read the next two? Okay, Manasvi.
If you're stuck writing a school paper on the weekend that you have to turn in on Monday, he can be the one who will keep you company and even give you some help if you need it. I can't relate to that because I've never had to write a school paper on the weekend.
Oh, but I think the teenagers here can, right? Laya, Soham, Shireen. Tell us about your stories with school papers. And Srinidhi? How do you guys feel writing school papers? Come on,
I don't
Laya.
know. I don't normally have to do them over a weekend either because my teachers are pretty lenient for the most part.
Just you wait.
Hopefully they stay that way, but they're probably not.
Laya can say something. I know she's eager. Go ahead, Laya.
Yeah, like I had to do this like English paper and it took me like a month, but like, and I was like stuck in my room for a long time.
Yeah.
Did you get any help from Baba? Or did you ask Baba to help, huh?
Yeah.
Eh.
Like when I got stressed.
And did you get any help? Or at least some motivation?
Yeah.
That's what he can do that for sure.
What about Srinidhi? Do you have any papers that you want to talk about? Or maybe Baba helped you?
Well, no. I never had to do any homework during the weekend.
Well, it could be any homework that you get stuck with. Or you have to write a paper or something.
What about Shireen?
Well, you're doing better than I did in school.
I had to write like this huge essay over the weekend. It was due on Monday.
And did you have problems with it, or did you able to do it on your own, or did you have to ask Baba to help a little bit?
I had to ask Baba a lot. I was really stressed.
Good.
Awesome.
That's what he's there for.
Okay, Shireen, since you're on, why don't you read the last one there?
If you're walking through an area of town that seems a little scary, he's the one who will accompany you and give you courage.
Have you run into that sometimes? So you haven't had to worry about anything like that?
No.
Good.
Meher, would you like to read some? Or who has not read yet? Ayan, have you read?
Ayan hasn't, yeah.
Yeah, Ayan, how about you read?
Nope.
Okay,
Sure.
go ahead, Ayan.
He can be like the God who looks down at you and watches over you all day.
You skipped a few.
Oh. Which one are we on? I keep
Number
forgetting.
10.
All right. He can be the one you wave to and say hello to when you first wake up in the morning.
How many of you say hello to Baba first thing in the morning?
No.
Nobody? Maybe this is a new thing we can start, Jeff. We can all ask them to say hello to Baba when they wake up.
You can wave to him, Hey, Baba, I'm up. Because Baba never sleeps. He is always watching everybody. So we get to go to sleep, and he stays awake and watches all of us all night long. day after day, year after year.
Yeah. Okay, guys, we're down to the last couple. Who would like to read?
Yeah.
Sahana, would you like to read the next one?
Which next part?
11.
Sorry, it keeps kicking me out of the meeting.
That's okay.
Right. He can be the one you say. Could you zoom in a little bit?
Oh, yeah.
Actually, never mind. I got it. All right. He can be the one. I can't see it now.
Hang on.
He can be. Sorry, it's really glitchy. He can be the one you say your prayers to, but he can also be the one besides. Wait, I can't read the other part. It's cut off.
There.
Yeah, beside you, saying the prayers with you.
Sahana, can you relate to that?
Well, I think it's basically saying that Baba will always be beside you.
Yeah. If you want him to, he'll be there. Yeah.
Okay. Anyone else? Sahana, you want to read the last one on this page? Or maybe somebody else. I know, Sahana, you're having some issues, right? How about Manasvi? Sorry.
He can be like the God who looks down at you and watches over you all day.
Is that? Can you relate to that?
I don't know. I don't pay much attention.
Mm-hmm. Well, if you ever do want attention, he can do that for you. So, okay, here's the last. Oh, there are two more.
That's right.
Oh, Sahana should take that number 13.
Okay. I'm sorry. It keeps glitching out on me. So number 13, right?
Yeah.
Okay. When you have to clean up your bedroom. Sorry, it keeps leaving the page. He can be the one who sits in the corner. I can't read that. It's so like glitchy for me.
Okay, how about now?
I can't see it. It's weird when I zoom in too.
Okay.
It keeps zooming out when I zoom in.
Can somebody help Sahana? Like Ayan, maybe you want to read that?
Sure. When you have to clean up your bedroom, he can be the one who sits in the corner and keeps you company.
Can you relate to that, Ayan?
Well, not really. Because whenever I'm cleaning my room, I usually watch something.
Oh, you're watching or listening to something, so you can do both of them at the same time.
Yeah. So.
That's a good way to do it.
I'm usually watching something on my portal.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys, who wants to read the last one? Okay, Meher?
when you told a lie or said a harsh word to someone, be he can be the one you turn to ask for forgiveness.
Now, which one of you can relate to that? All of us? Yeah, I see a lot of hands going up. Yeah, Ayan, Srinidhi. Guys, you can speak up. You can unmute yourselves. This is a free forum. Srinidhi, you want to say something? You look like you want to say something.
Yeah, so like whenever I do something that I wish I didn't do, I just ask forgiveness to him.
Beautiful. Really, that's one of the best things you can do in life. Lovely. I have to do that. Any other kids relate to that?
All right, Sia and Meher. Go ahead, guys. You can speak up.
Mine was when I forgot to do something, and then I was just doing something else, and then in the time for that thing, I didn't remember what to do, so I was confused. And then I ended up not going somewhere, so then I asked to forgive me.
Beautiful. See ya.
What about Meher? You had something to share?
Should I read the 15th thing?
Sure.
Go ahead. Yeah.
At the end of the day, when you are thinking about all of the things you did, he can be the one you share these things with.
Can you relate to that?
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, this is, kind of different ways that you can, so that Baba's not just up in the sky somewhere, but he's down here in your life. Not to, that's why he comes. Why God comes as a man, so he can, we can play ping pong with him, we can go for walks with him, we can do all these things. It's not like he's far away somewhere. He can be right with you as much as you want him to be there. And like I say, a lot of people have him up in heaven somewhere, and so they don't have much of a relationship with him. And you kids are doing great. As I said, I didn't have any relationship with Jesus or Bob or anything when I was growing up until until my college days. But maybe I could tell you just how I'll tell you real quickly how I heard of Baba. I was as I said, I grew up in Tacoma, Washington, and then I went to New York City to college in Manhattan. And on my last year of college, I took a painting course. And most of us in the class had to paint these still life scenes, fruit in a bowl on a table. Very kind of boring. But a couple easels over, there was this guy who was painting this man with a big smile on his face. And, he somehow got permission to do that instead of what we were doing. And who he was painting was Baba. And so we hit it off really well. This guy was a very funny, entertaining, goofy guy. His name was Selwyn Silberblatt. What a name. But it went with his personality. He was... Anyway, one day... Uh-oh. Wow, just a second. I don't know what happened. Can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, Jeff.
I can hear you.
Okay, good. So one day he asked if I wanted to go to a Baba meeting. This is in January 1968, in the middle of winter in New York, and I didn't have any ready excuse, so I said yes, and I took a buddy of mine, and we went down to this hall where the downtown called Little Carnegie Hall, opposite the famous Carnegie Hall. It was a little reciting hall. So the elevator door opened up on the 4th floor and into this hallway, this large hallway, and it's completely packed with people. And we step off the elevator, and all these old ladies come over, and they introduce themselves, and they hug us, and someone else introduced them to hug us, and we went from hugging to hugging to hugging, which doesn't normally happen in New York, where people where you run into this kind of spontaneous love. And it took us, and then we got into the men, and they welcomed us, and we were received like long lost nephews that had shown up at a family reunion. Now, I didn't know anything about Baba, minimal. But it took us a half hour to get just 30 feet, through all these hugs and everything. And we went into the back of the room, and there was a movie. And at the end, I don't remember much except that, they had movies of Baba. And at the end, this one woman, Ella Winterfeld, would ring a bell. And that would begin the 3 minutes of silence. So I, kind of obediently, closed my eyes. And I said, I don't even know who he is. I thought, I've just come off the street and they're asking me to meditate on their master. But I thought, well, it's only 3 minutes of my life. It's no big deal. So I kind of opened my eyes and I looked around and saw the people, mainly older people. And it was a really nice feeling, a wholesome feeling in the room. And then I looked up at the front of the room, and there was a photograph of Baba on an easel. And suddenly Baba's eyes came alive. And I felt that was the love that I suspected was at the core of all of life. I knew in an instant that Baba was God, and my whole life was meant to be led for him. Up to that point, I didn't feel you should ever follow anybody. But then, this is what you might, and so all these people in the room have their eyes closed. Baba begins looking at them, and I could see that each one was his very favorite. Each person meant the world to him. I had never seen anybody look through a room where he adored everyone. In fact, I remember thinking, oh my God, if they only knew how dearly he loves them. Because they're inside just thinking, oh, what am I going to do after this meeting? I'm going to take the subway back home or whatever. But he loved them. And the next thing I knew, Baba was right in front of me. And I got to look into his eyes. And I looked into Baba's eyes, and there was no bottom to the love in his eyes. That his eyes went on forever. And the next thing I knew, I was lifted out of my chair. I didn't know that we have other bodies. I didn't realize. I was lifted out into a very sublime realm. And the room that we were all in was about 75 feet below. And Baba was beside me. And he said he wanted me to serve his people. And my background was humanitarian. And I said, why just them? Why not everyone? And he gave me some instructions for my life. And the next thing I knew, the bell was ringing and I was back in my seat. Oh my God, that's the last thing I expected on a cold, miserable, rainy New York evening to find out everything I was longing for in this life. And that began my life with Baba. Not only that, remember when I was in fourth grade and I felt Jesus watching me? When I came out of that meeting, Baba was watching me. He watched me and so lovingly, and I knew that from that I knew Baba had been Jesus. I've totally forgot about this experience, and it came back. And so for years I had Baba watching me, and it was very beautiful. And so if you open up to it, Baba will watch you. You have to open up some windows so that you can see that he's watching you. He is always watching us, but we're the ones that we have to clear away some. Well, you know what it's like. On a cloudy day, we say that the sun isn't out. But the sun is always the sun is out, but the clouds have to clear away, and when there's enough clearing, the sun comes through, and you realize the sun was there all the time. And that's the way it is with Baba. He is always there watching each one of us. I don't know how he does it, but how he can watch Manasvi, and he can also watch Meher, and he can watch me, and he can watch Shilpa, all at the same time. How can he do that? That's why he's God. We can maybe watch one or two people at a time, but he can watch everybody. So, anyway, what time is it? Oh, it's getting around 5. Whew. Yeah, there's... Sia, read that, okay?
Are there any of these roles that you never thought or considered that Baba would play for you? He can be your companion throughout your day.
Yeah. Do you think that's possible, Sia?
Yes.
It takes a little work on our part.
Yes. Because if I get addicted to one thing, I can't drift off of it. So if I get addicted to this thing, I'll be addicted to it until the afternoon. So I can't get it out of my mind no matter what.
Wait, say that again, Sia.
If I get addicted to this, I can never get it out of my mind until I research it. So that's like what always happens when I learn something new. I can't get it out of my brain.
Oh, good. Well, this is something that Baba said. So, I am whatever you take me to be. So you can make him whatever fits your heart, however you'd like him to be with you. He's not just someone up in heaven, but he can also be right down there with you in the little ways in your life. Yeah. Anything else? Well, there's a little girl over there named Angela. You see her? She's only 15.
I fit inside this little box. That's how small I am.
Anybody have anything to say or add at the end here? Anything that was something new that you might find useful?
Well, first of all, I want to ask everyone, what did you guys think of this?
This was really great.
Yeah, can you relate to it? Maybe one of them, or maybe this will start for you to think more on how Baba could be there for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what we could do is next week when we all meet, you guys can kind of, we can revisit whatever Jeff went through, and then we could kind of say, okay, how was Baba there for you this week? And every time you feel like you're stuck or he's helping you or you feel like he's watching you, maybe make a note of it, here, or write it down, and then we can come back to it. What do you guys think? That'd be something fun to discuss, right?
But you kids are great. I mean, you are so lucky to hear about this when you're young. I wish I would probably been a better person. If I wouldn't have made as many mistakes as I have. But you have Baba there, and you can always call on him, or he'll help you in more ways than you could imagine. It's kind of magical, but it seems magical, but it's very loving and human. And it means the world to him that you kids even think of him. There was one of Baba's women mandali, her name was Bansari, and she would get the kids to say Baba's name 100 times a day. And she had a club, the 100 Club. They would say Baba's name. And she got them. So when they would come for tea in the afternoon, she'd say, well, have you done your hundreds? And they say, yes, we've done my hundreds. Or I've got 50 more to do. But anyway, all those things are a lot of, you can have fun with this. It should be fun.
We saw her in Mehrabad. Masai.
What's that? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. So it was really nice being with you kids. Wow, great. And the music programs you did and the singing you did was beautiful and lovely. Yeah.
So Jeff, I know Anita, you joined a little later. So would you like to share something today, or would you like to come back next week when we meet? You're on mute, sweetheart.
Yeah, I can share next week. That's fine. This was a great experience. I loved hearing Jeff's experience. It was really nice.
Yeah. And Jeff, maybe before you leave, you can share us the story at the coffee place.
Yeah.
Share the story of having
you're talking to me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll do this real quickly. Because this is what can happen. I was back in my college days, before I believed in Baba or even believed in God. Well, I should tell that later, but I heard of Baba back in January of 1968, and he said that we could come and be with him in India in the spring of '69. But I didn't have a job. There were 3 of us in Seattle, Washington. We didn't have jobs, and I was just bumming around, during. And so we used to get together in this dumpy restaurant called the Hasty Tasty. And the thing about the Hasty Tasty, it was a greasy spoon hamburger joint, and the windows were always grimy because they had hamburgers cooking 24 hours a day practically, or eggs. And but anyway, we used to go there because for $1 you could drink a whole afternoon of coffee or a whole evening of coffee. They just kept filling the pot up, and you could go over and help yourself. So we used to get there and talk about how we could get over to see Baba, maybe work our way on a ship, or we would try to come up with ways to go and see Baba. And then in 31st of January 1969, we got the news that Baba dropped his body, meaning that we wouldn't be seeing him physically. And about 3 days afterwards, we were in this restaurant and having our usual coffee in the afternoon, and there were 3 of us, and there was an empty chair next to me. Suddenly the woman, her name was Marion, looks at that chair and says, "Oh my God, Baba's sitting in that chair." And I started to turn my head, and Baba was like the light of 1,000 suns. Baba was so brilliant, I couldn't even look directly at him. And there he was, right in the chair next to me. And Baba stayed for, a timeless period, who knows how long. We held hands, our coffees got cold, we got up and we paid our dimes, and we went on our way. But then about 15 years later, this is the interesting thing, about 15 years later, there was one of Baba's disciples named Kitty Davy, who helped run the center in Myrtle Beach. And she asked me about my college days. This was before Baba. And I said, Kitty, I didn't really believe in God before Baba. In fact, I used to say really sarcastically, you know what the word sarcastic is? Kind of, a little bit mean. I used to say, I don't believe in God, but if I would tell my friends, and people ask me, I don't believe in God, but if he would sit down and join me with a cup of coffee, that God I would give my whole life to. I had totally forgotten that I used to say that. I mean, I wept on the spot. Oh my God. I don't believe in God, but if he would sit down and join me for a cup of coffee, that God I would give my whole life to. And there, Baba, before I even knew of him, he fulfilled that. He sat down on the chair beside me, and so I'm trying to give my whole life to him. I got one last riddle, and then we'll go. Here's what. This is a riddle. What is greater than God? The poor have it, the rich don't lack for it, and if you have it, you will die. Now, if you know it, don't say. I mean, if you already know it. Uh-oh. Ion, you know it already? He's got his hand raised.
Nothing.
Oh, exactly. He got it. Nothing is greater than God. The poor have nothing. The rich don't lack they lack nothing. And if you eat nothing, you will die. Very good, Ion.
How did you figure that out, Ian? I'm so impressed.
Because I watch a show called Inspector Gadget.
Uh-huh.
Inspector Gadget? Really?
I already knew that.
That was really good.
Yes, even I saw with him.
So that's a good riddle. Very few people
Mama
can.
probably seen that 3 times now.
Yes, I saw with him. Yeah, that's what even I.
Yeah.
But,
okay.
Poor man has me. Rich man needs me. Inspired.
Is it okay if Anita, she gets to share something real quick? I know we're a little over.
You talking to?
Yeah. Anita?
Whatever you want.
Okay. Yeah, she wanted to share a song with the.
Oh.
Yeah.
Catherine? Yeah.
Okay. Shall I take my turn now?
Yeah, go ahead. Beautiful.
Okay. Jai Baba. Jai Meher Baba, everybody. My name is Anita, and I live in Elkridge, Maryland. I will be sharing the Hindi bhajan today. It's called Jeevan Ka Maine Sauf Diya. I will explain the meaning later on after I sing the song. Jai Baba.
Yeah.
जीवन का सौंप दिया सब भार तुम्हारे हाथों में है जीत तुम्हारे हाथों में है हार तुम्हारे हाथों में जीवन का मैंने सौंप दिया सब भार तुम्हारे हाथों में है जीत तुम्हारे हाथों में है हार तुम्हारे हाथों में मेरे है मेरे एक बार तुझे पा जाऊं मैं एक बार तुझे पा जाऊं मैं अर्पण कर दूं इस जीवन का सब प्यार तुम्हारे हाथों में अर्पण कर दूं इस जीवन का सब प्यार तुम्हारे हाथों में है जीत तुम्हारे हाथों में है हार तुम्हारे हाथों में जब जब का कैदी बन जब जब का कैदी बन दरबार में तेरे आऊं मैं दरबार में तेरे आऊं मैं अब मेरे पापों का निर्णय सरकार तुम्हारे हाथों में। अब मेरे पापों का निर्णय सरकार तुम्हारे हाथों में है। जीत तुम्हारे हाथों में है, हार तुम्हारे हाथों में। कल्पना या कल्पना या करती है एक से तू भी रह के सागर में, एक से रह के सागर में। तब में जब पहुँचा करते हैं भव पार तुम्हारे हाथों में है। जीत तुम्हारे हाथों में है, हार तुम्हारे हाथों में। मुझ में है वेद यही, मुझ में सच में है वेद यही। मैं नर हूँ तुम नारायण हो, मैं नर हूँ तुम नारायण हो। मैं हूँ मैं हूँ मैं हूँ संसार के हाथों में, संसार तुम्हारे हाथों में है। जीत तुम्हारे हाथों में है, हार तुम्हारे हाथों में। जीवन का मैंने सौंप दिया सब भार तुम्हारे हाथों में है। जीत तुम्हारे हाथों में है, हार तुम्हारे हाथों में।
Thank you, Anita.
Jai Baba.
Jai Baba.
Beautiful longing in that song.
Jai Baba.
Oh, thank you,
The
everyone.
concept of this, yeah, go ahead. You're saying something, Shilpa?
Sorry. Oh, we couldn't hear you.
Hey, Baba. Oh, I was just saying if you were saying something, but yes, the concept of this whole song is to reiterate that Baba is God, the Baba is love, to always serve Baba, to always love Baba. That is the essential meaning of the song. This is actually not a Meher Baba bhajan, but this is a bhajan very close to my heart, and the meaning of the song correlates to everything that we learn with Meher Baba. So that's why I shared this song today. Jai Meher Baba.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much.
Hey, Kathy Riley. There's some of the kids that are, I think, there's Kathy Riley. You've seen her before, you kids.
Yeah, at Myrtle Beach.
Yeah.
It's wonderful to see everybody.
Yeah, thank you. So guys, thank you so much. We've gone over quite a bit, but I think it was wonderful. Jeff, I loved having you guys over. And thank you for all the new participants. We will be back at 4 o'clock next Sunday, so don't forget. And we look forward to more and more. And anyone here who would love to come and talk to the kids, please let myself or Shailaja know. You guys all know Shailaja, so she is my partner in crime for this Tween Sahavas. So please let us know. We would love to have you guys over and interact with the kids and share some of your stories or anything else that you'd like to do. I hope Srinidhi, Sia, and Manasvi, our new participants, enjoyed themselves. Thank you so much for everything to making Baba 2-week Baba birthday celebrations. And see you next week.
Yeah.
Bye. This was really great.
Thank you, and Shilpa, and you kids.
Thank you, Jeff.
Great. Yeah, great to hang out with you.
Yes.
Now that all these grown-ups. Oh my God.
Well, Jeff, you know you can come in anytime.
Right.
Jai Baba, Angela. Jai Baba, everyone.
Good to see you.
Thank you, and all the kids.
Baba Jeff.